we're live. We're going to talk about some coffee very quickly on this dietary measure as you guys come into the chat. So I'm going to put this better angle. And I'm also testing you guys my Wi-Fi. Okay? Because I upgraded, and if it gets scuffed this time, I'm going to really complain to my provider. Really complain. All right. So you guys are coming into the chat. Do you need this stuff? And I kind of got this idea from Vegetable Police, of all people. What's up, everyone? Oh my God, drinking 2 cups a day. Okay, so let's dive into this. It's a little higher too. Let's dive into just sort of this concept of everybody still believing in bulletproof coffee or butter coffee. And probably getting to see you live. Awesome. So I see you guys coming in. So here we have a coffee mug. Actually, there's just water up in here. You guys can see it's just water. And I stopped drinking anything but water probably about 2 years ago, because as a child I never drank water. I just constantly had to have, like, I wasn't a soda person, but I had to have juice, I had to have lemonade, I had to have tea. I was never really a big coffee drinker, but as long as it wasn't water, we were good. Okay? Back in the day. Now I just drink water primarily. I mean, sometimes I'll put a lime in it if I'm at a restaurant, but otherwise, okay. So I kind of got this idea to do this live stream about caffeine based on Vegetable Police. It was a vegan for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And he switched to a carnivore diet because he had such gut inflammation, probably diverticulitis and Crohn's and an ulcer somewhere. I mean, he had a lot of stuff, leaky gut, you name it. And it's very interesting to watch his videos go from straight veganism over to carnism. And one of the last videos I watched of him was like, if this is such a good diet, why does everybody have to drink coffee? And I was like, it was so kind of like naive, interesting how he phrased it. So now I'm going to take your guys' questions in a second, and then I'm going to bounce. Because I was out really late watching Les Miserables last night, so I'm a little sad because it got real early. But with that said, the point is do you need coffee? People sort of enter this low carb, high fat institution believing that you have to have coffee. So I do consultations. I also run a keto course page, monthly subscription. And a lot of people join this page or have consultations with me actually thinking that you're supposed to drink coffee because this is what they see in other videos and other health professionals. What's up, Deborah? I'm trying to keep this a short stream. Drink 2 sodas a day. Ooh. Yeah. So, and I was like thinking, like, he's kind of right. Like, people who do the keto diet are trying, like, I had a consultation today with a woman that really just didn't understand you're actually trying to keto adapt, because she was like, well, I just want to lose weight. And I'm like, okay. I was like, oh, this person doesn't know anything about keto. I'm like, no, you actually have to produce ketones. I'm like, you can't just do this dietary measure because it's a lifestyle and it takes months to adapt. It doesn't happen overnight, contrary to what all these professionals say, but they don't know what they're talking about. And because they don't work with glucometers in people by the thousands over time to draw the lines and come up with their conclusions. So a lot of people are very coffee driven because they just are. It's a universal addiction in first world economy countries. But with that said, coffee or caffeine is going to stimulate the adrenals to produce more adrenaline. And these adrenal glands, this is right here, right? Little vulnerable, they're the size of green peas, you guys, are really, really tiny. Coffee is just a drug to relieve stress, but it's Haunting me a lot. Yes. So you start drinking it, and people are tired, and then they'll go for the caffeine. They drink it so much that they start having. So people go from like a cup a day to 4 cups a day. They start to have stomach issues. So it starts to eat at the mucus lining of your stomach. People start to just feel like it's not working, and then subconsciously they don't sleep well. They think it's the coffee, but they're not sure, so they try to go down in cups. They go down in cups because after 4 cups, they become immune to the sensation of the adrenal response, which is really bad. Uh, like up the stream, you guys, like up the stream, because people start to develop Addison's. They can even start going towards the thyroid graves, but I digress. Addison's, where their adrenal glands are just these tiny little things are like overworking, and they're secreting adrenaline, because that caffeine is just going to push it all day long. Adrenaline. And your body already didn't get sleep the night before, and now you're forcing your body to do a task it really is not equipped for. These adrenal glands should be used in an emergency. Oh yeah, Deborah's saying to like up the stream. Y'all got to hit the like button, okay? And then you have to hit the chat box to go back into the chat. If you are on a cell phone, I think that's what you got to do. I think if you're on a laptop, I think you don't have to exit out of the stream, I think. Dry skin. Okay, so yeah, so there's many things wrong to do with coffee, but I try to explain to people that people always spin their own narrative when they're giving advice because it suits whatever they want to believe. So anyone who's eating cheese or nuts on a ketogenic protocol, if they're eating that themselves, why would they tell you to cut it out? And if you hear other people doing that, it just validates that addiction that you have to these foods, cheese and nuts and caffeine. So this whole, and I'll go kind of not strongly into all the issues with coffee, because I wanted to talk about this vegetable police thing. And he's this vegan guy going into carnism. He's like, like everybody's doing carnivore, but it's not really, right? Because carnism is like no plants. And last I checked, coffee was a plant. But we live, right? Woo, we live. Let me see. I used to work 4 days straight. Let me see, without sleeping 72 hours, because I did have 2 jobs and didn't drink coffee. But one day I ate turkey at 3 a.m. and I almost fell asleep because of the tryptophan. Okay, so I'm going to get back to this subject and then take your guys' comments and whatnot. And so he's kind of right. If you have to drink coffee and you don't have energy on keto, omnivore, so you're still eating plants, or keto, carnivore, because stuff doesn't do straight carnivore, carnism. Steph, not stuff. Do I know my name? Steph does a keto carnivore protocol. So that's what I do now. I do everything. I do low carb, high fat. We're still eating carbs. Okay. I do keto, straight keto, because that's where my home is. That's where I put my hat off. And then I do keto carnivore because that's what I've been working with, especially in my course group, for months and months and months. And I have a lot of data now because of working with a ton of people at one time. But a lot of people on the internet stratosphere are drinking coffee because they're not adapted. So vegetable police is like, I did keto, I did carnivore, and I can't seem to find the energy that I need to do this dietary measure. And I'm like, bro, look here. The reason why you don't have energy is because, and he also said something else that I thought was very bizarre. He's like, I still have gut issues. I'm stuck on this diet. I can't go off the diet. And I'm like, you're not healed. Things that you are doing are not healing the gut. So it's beyond the diet. You can't just do a diet and heal the gut. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Sleep, quality of sleep, the quality of the foods that you're eating, diaphragmatic breathing. If you have your cell phone, EMF poisoning, all of these things can spike your blood sugar if you're eating too much protein. If you're not eating enough fat, all of these things are going to create an inflammatory response, so your body won't adapt. you're going to be tired all the time and crave coffee. So people who are drinking coffee on a carnivore diet or keto carnivore, I don't understand that. Like, that's just a plant, so that defeats the purpose. And then people who are doing coffee on keto, that also defeats the purpose, because coffee is going to stimulate those adrenal glands to produce more adrenaline coupled with cortisol, and cortisol is going to raise your blood sugar because that's what cortisol does. And your body's trying to use ketones, and if you have sugar in the bloodstream and the body's really, the brain's like, I'm trying to use these ketones, but here we have my little, my addiction is back. So I'm not going to use these ketones. I'm going to use this glucose from gluconeogenesis from drinking coffee. And I know this to be fact because I've worked with so many people with these results. So with that said, it's so important for you guys to try to get your diet as clean as possible. If you're doing straight keto and you are rotating, because now that I'm learning so much about the plant paradox, and I don't mean the Dr. Gundry, I mean just literally, it's a paradox, right? Because there are good beneficial things about plants, and there's a lot of stuff that'll mess you up. So for people who are still eating plant source foods on a standard keto omnivore diet, it's incredibly important to rotate your plant source foods. You can't just eat spinach every day or broccoli every day. And I know you guys like to do that, and I know you guys are creatures of habits, but you cannot do this. You must rotate. And for people who are doing keto carnivore, you cannot stuff yourself with protein. You must eat a high fat keto carnivore. Somebody asked me on Facebook, well, what are the macros for that? I'm like, yo, you're going to keep your fats between 200 and 300 grams of fat a day at 85% fat, and you're going to take your protein down and keep it down to 15. That's it. No plants, just salt. But back to this coffee problem. So people are drinking caffeine. It's having the adrenal glands overstimulate the adrenals to produce more adrenaline than cortisol. So that's a big problem with the competition of trying to create ketones when you're creating glucose in the bloodstream via gluconeogenesis. Now, the problem also with coffee is that it comes with a lot of issues. When you roast the coffee bean or berry, you kill off a lot of the antioxidants just by cooking it. You're roasting it. So this myth about that there's so many antioxidants in it, and you guys doing coffee enemas up your butt, I can't with this. I can't. You've got anti-nutrients that you're just completely freaking out the body. If you were to do a coffee enema, you do it for the short term and you stop for good. And these people do this stuff for like a couple of years, just completely toxifying their body with this nonsense. Now, coffee is also a diuretic. So a lot of you guys have leaky gut. So if you're having a problem absorbing vitamin D, your fat soluble vitamins, your B complex, drink some coffee if you want to be malabsorptive, because you're just going to pee right out all that stuff you're trying so hard to heal the gut with. And of course, like I told you, it eats at the mucus lining, not only of your stomach, but all the way down your digestive tract. That's what coffee does. And that's why you guys have a hard time drinking more than 2 cups. And some can only drink a half a cup because they were drinking coffee for so many years. They get discomfort with drinking coffee daily, even though they seem to can't get off of it. Now, another thing is that you guys think that you can quit at any time and that you're not addicted to it, but that's not how the body works. The body becomes addicted to the caffeine, and then it tells the brain to like the aroma and the taste. We got sister cells and daughter cells, and they will be like, hey, brain, love the aroma, love making and preparing the coffee. So don't tell me that you can quit coffee at any time, because the brain does not control the body when it comes to craving the stimulant. Now, it also is going to reduce your tyrosine. You need tyrosine up in here, that amino acid. A lot of you guys are having so many sleep issues from too low tyrosine. Okay. Whew, almost had a heart attack. I was like, the screen just went blank. And I just got new Wi-Fi. And I also had some kind of cord that was leaking. This was the big problem with my scuffed internet, is that there was a cord leaking the signal. so it's glitching up my signal, but I digress. Don't forget to like up the stream. There's 50 people in the house, so if you want to give some Steph some love, and also Deborah's reminding you guys to book a consultation. Go to stephanieperson.com. So that's my website. If you want to get on the course page, if you want to have a consultation, if you want to learn some more things, you can also just hang out here, or you can go to my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. And Deborah is also saying, which I think is so awesome, that my consultations are wonderful. And she is definitely a person she's my mod. She definitely has gone through a lot of stuff with rheumatoid arthritis and hasn't gone back, and had a consultation a while back, and she's here helping from the kindness of her heart. So, all right, guys. So let's see here. Yes, I'm very thorough. Oh, I do everything. You guys, the one thing about consultations is, I digress for a minute, is that I can go more deep into your own background. Like if you're drinking coffee, what are the symptoms that you're not aware of? It's really easy. It's easier to talk to someone, but also sort of like framing together. I talked to a woman this morning who had a genetic disorder. So I was like, she said, I have a genetic disorder of developing cysts in my liver and in my kidneys. So we just did a full profile. So we deconstructed her entire life. We started from, when did you find out that you had cysts? She found out by accident by doing an MRI for something else, and they caught the corner of a cyst in her liver. But I talk about, the doctors were like, those cysts can't go. And I was like, what's your diet? She's like, salads, coffee, she ate potatoes. She hadn't done keto yet. Potatoes, rice. I said brown or white. She's like, brown, sometimes white, but brown. I was like, oh, all the wrong foods for somebody who's trying to get rid of growths in the body. She ate salads. I was like, you can't eat oxalates if you have a kidney problem. So, but anyway, coffee. And then I'm gonna take your guys' questions and bounce, roll, bounce. Collect my thought. So the other things about coffee are the mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are mold. It's really hard to get them off of the crops. It's really hard to get them off of that coffee bean or berry. Very, very difficult. So even if you have coffee that's supposed to be mycotoxin free, it's not. So don't get that twisted. A lot of you guys have leaky gut. A lot of you guys have candida up in here, and then it grows everywhere. And one way to really exacerbate that mold fungal issue is to drink coffee. So it's very acidic to the bloodstream. So you guys got to understand, we can't have an alkaline body. Certain parts are acidic, like the stomach. Some parts are semi-acidic and alkaline, but the bloodstream must be alkaline, and that messes with the pH balance of your body with that caffeine. So if you're drinking coffee and doing a lot of other bad habits and not sleeping well, that's when you start to have issues. So people get this very confused with this whole alkaline water scam. But there's so many problems with coffee and your liver having to filter that, and the liver and the kidneys overworking, and the anti-nutrients in the coffee itself, and the caffeine itself, and then the mold itself. And then coffee is a very heavily sprayed crop, because it's a multi-trillion-dollar business. Trust me, these companies are going to protect their investment. So they can leak a bunch of stuff online saying it's so great and the health benefits and it's a vasodilator and all this nonsense. But with coaching thousands of people over the time, I'm on the Dr. Oz show. People, what Greg was that? I was on the Dr. Oz show. You like to keep in touch? No, when you actually go on these shows, you actually talk to the producers. You don't talk to the hosts. These people are busy making money. They're busy making millions. No, I don't keep in touch with him, but he was a very lovely man, but I digress. So you have to consider the mycotoxins. You have to consider it's a diuretic, and that has also a difficult time when it's a diuretic. People have a hard time building testosterone when they're drinking too much caffeine. It's creating too much cortisol within the body. It's acidic to the blood. It eats at the mucus lining. It messes with your tyrosine. So it does all these things. And I can look on the faces of people and see irritated skin I'm like, it's that coffee skin. And it also dehydrates the skin itself for people who are getting older. But on these younger people, because I'm around a bunch of millennials, you guys know that. I talk about that all the time. And I'll clock girls in the changing room like, oh my God, you're in such good shape. I love your, blah, blah, blah. I like your arms. Like, what are you doing? And then we'll start talking, and I'm like, well, what's your diet? And I go, well, you're a coffee drinker, right? And they'll be like, yeah, how do you know? And I'm like, it's that skin. There's like red spot pores around these young people, that like kind of greasy, red spotty, but like they don't have acne. It just like the skin looks congested. That's coffee, straight up. Now, I'm going to take your guys' question. So, also the whole vegetable police thing. If you're needing to drink coffee on keto or keto carnivore, because carnivore is not coffee, or low carb, high fat, and you are like, oh, this is great, I can just put butter in it. No. You won't adapt. You won't. Keep pounding down the coffee. Use a glucometer. Test your blood sugar and your ketones over a month or 6 weeks, and plus test your blood sugar all day long, and drink your coffee and watch yourself what happens. You don't need me to tell you. Just go do it yourself. Be your own experiment. I mean, right now I'm just a talking head. All right, you guys, I'm going to take your questions. You never liked coffee? I never did either. I don't know what the big deal is. And my mom was straight up hardcore coffee drinker. And she made it every morning. And I never was like, oh my God, it smells so fabulous. It's so wonderful. I never went through that. I'm a horrible coffee addiction cycle, even though I know better. Exactly. Do you offer coffee rehab? Well, that's what I'm doing right now. This is a coffee rehab video. Now, people take L-tyrosine, the amino acid, to get over the coffee flu. So if you're trying to find a way to not have such a headache afterwards or feeling tired, people say, I never took it for that, but people say that L-tyrosine, or it's called DLPA in caps, will help with getting off coffee. Otherwise, it takes from 3 to 5 days. You feel a little sluggish. If you get your macros right on keto carnivore or keto omnivore, straight standard keto, if you have your macros right and you mind your electrolytes, you won't feel as tired. A lot of people will go off the coffee and they're like, I'm so tired. And I'm like, sometimes it's just their electrolytes. Sometimes it's just not enough water because you dump a lot of water in the beginning. Sometimes it's your potassium and sodium and magnesium minerals are so off that you feel really drained. And sometimes it's not just the coffee. So there's other things to think about. Also making sure that your fats are high and that you're eating them throughout the day, even though it is a burden to your digestive tract. But that's just in the beginning to try to get this ketotic system to start working. Because if you just sit there and try to intermittent fast, go use a glucometer and watch your ketones and your glucose be really unstable along with symptoms, because you can't use the glucometer. You have to use the glucometer and track your symptoms and your sleep and your poop. See, what about loose leaf tea? You know what, you guys, whatever types of herbs or teas that, because there's way less so that means mycotoxins. So somebody's saying about loose leaf tea, if it's herbal, must be herbal, no caffeine. But yeah, you could do loose leaf tea. There was a time I was doing lemon. I would just use fresh lemon. I would do mint, and I would just use fresh mint leaves. I would do ginger and just cut a couple of slices of ginger in hot water. I was doing cacao butter, and I was just like dropping some pieces of this white chocolate in hot water. I would do Ceylon cinnamon. I did that most of the time more than loose leaf. What else did I do? Lemon, ginger. Yeah, those were the teas I made on my own. Let's see here. Miss Stephanie, do you eat kidney? Yes, honey. Eating kidney has to be prepared a certain way or you won't like it. If you prepare kidney, because kidney's pretty tough. You got to cut off this, what is it? What's it called? This freaking tough, what's it called? Membrane first. You have to cut that off. So a lot of people don't know you have to cut that off. And then people have to sort of cut the fat on the inside of it. And then I suggest, if you have a filter on your tap, to run it under hot water, or you can soak it. People like to soak it in cold water and apple cider vinegar, and to sort of kind of break up the toughness and the bitterness. It's more bitter, it's more metallic, it's very strong tasting. So you have to let it sit there. So I personally run it underwater. And then you could do the apple cider vinegar thing for 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours. that they say with apple cider vinegar, and it's really great. So here's what's really great about kidney is that a lot of you guys who have leaky gut and food sensitivities and food allergies and your gut's not healing, which vegetable police again probably is not eating enough organ meats and the right types of organ meats, since he goes off of carnivore and he tries to eat plants and it still hurts, and he doesn't understand how long it takes for that gut to heal. So eating kidney is really great for the gut because it's helping you produce an enzyme called diamine oxidase. So this is going to take down the level of histamine, which if he's going off, that might be problematic because he doesn't really know what's going on. And unfortunately, a lot of functional and holistic doctors or even integrative doctors can't break the code sometimes on what's going on with people or truly how to heal the gut, especially without supplements. And you don't necessarily heal the gut with supplements. So let's just keep it real. So let's see here. Okay, so I know you said to test your glucose first thing in the morning. Is that also the best time to test ketones? Yeah, so that's a great question. So the reason why you test ketones and things in the morning is because you haven't done anything all night long, right? You're just resting. So like if I move like this, so is my blood, right? So if you test the blood and you're moving around, then that bloodstream is going to be very unstable. It's not going to be, basically, as soon as I start moving, my blood sugars are going to rise. So if I test right out of bed because I haven't done anything, that's going to be a more objective number. And then the reason for your blood sugar. Now you can test your blood sugar all day long to establish an algorithm. When does it spike? When does it drop? And often people's blood sugar will be high in the morning because they don't sleep well. And then it will tend to drop after breakfast. Now, people who've got hypoglycemia, it drops after breakfast if you have a breakfast. And then, or people will have a lunch and it'll go haywire. It'll spike in the afternoon and plummet and you start to have hypoglycemia or high blood sugar in the afternoon, and then it drops and you guys want to sleep. So a lot of you guys are tired in the afternoon because your blood sugar is unstable at that time. So you test at those markers just to see what's going on. And then typically people have blood sugar lower in the evenings because they're relaxed. They're not cortisol driven. They're not getting ready for the day. They're supposed to be chillaxing. Now, some people have high blood sugar at night, and that's bad. And the ketones are tested in the morning because you want to see if you're actually burning body fat, right? That's what you want to see, because if you're eating a lot of fat, that's going to be present in the blood. So that's why it's subjective. So if you test your ketones later in the day, you're testing ketones that you made from what you eat, and everybody wants to get lean. And so then they need to go and test first thing out of bed for ketones. Now, you only test ketones in the morning out of bed. You never test it all day long because that's a very subjective number. Glucose you can test in the morning. That's the most objective, but you can also test all day long. And you can also test for allergies, food sensitivities, and you can test for if your body's stressed after working out. So you would test when the heart rate's down, you stop sweating. So if that's 15 or 20 minutes, then you test your blood sugar post-workout. And if it's skyrocketing, then your body did not like what you did in your workout, okay? You weren't either breathing right or you are inflamed into working out. You know, you have adrenal fatigue, you're exhausted, you don't sleep well, and then you force a workout, you test your blood sugar and it's skyrocketing. And that happens a lot with people. So let's see what else we got here. Do you have high fat, low carb, not keto? Yes. Yeah, wait, and so my ketones. Everybody makes ketones. So even people who eat pizza can make ketones. So all you have to do is not eat anything for 6 hours and you will produce ketones. The body just won't use them. So just because you make ketones does not mean that you use them. And that's the problem with the internet. They don't explain that difference. And that's the reason why it takes so long to adapt. So I never just have people test their ketones and go, oh, I have a ketones at 3.2 and I'm adapted and I'm a ketosis. I'm like, no, you're not. You're drinking coffee. You're tired in the afternoon. You don't sleep well. Because in my consultations, we go over your sleep hygiene. And I find all the holes. I am the best at deconstructing because I'm a human. They're a human. A lot of doctors don't go into somebody's entire day. Like the woman this morning, I was like, do you sleep well? She's like, yes, I sleep really, really amazing. I'm like, why do you drink 2 cups of coffee a day? And she's like, I'm like, are you tired in the morning? She's like she couldn't answer these questions. And then I had to keep digging. And then I found out that she actually is tired. I said, do you sleep throughout the night? Yeah, mostly. Do you wake up? Yeah, but I toss and then I go back to sleep. I go, do you dream? She's like, no. I was like, bingo. Are you tired in the afternoon? Yes. Bingo. Not sleeping well. Let's see here. Oh, she was reading tablets in her bed. Can't take screens in your eyes because looking at stuff is a daytime activity. Okay, our bodies don't know we live in the modern time. So when you trying to do a daytime activity in your bed, that's what you're training the subconscious body to do, is to be awake. Now it might relax your racing mind, but you don't hit the fifth level of sleep. You don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, deep sleep 5, deep sleep, REM sleep, and do those cycles, those 90-minute cycles. A lot of you guys just go here, don't dream, pop back here, and then you get flabby, and then you have too much estrogen, and then you produce too much DAT, and then you've got thyroid issues, and then you have adrenal issues, and you tag. Okay, so that's why we have to learn more about circadian rhythms, sleep. I also tell people you can't eat a bunch of food at night. Your body's trying to hibernate. It's trying to, like, don't clock me back in the job and make me work to digest this food, because it takes a lot of energy to digest food. So the body's like, it just won't digest fully. And that's why you guys are not hungry in the AM. Love my sound effects. Okay, so Deborah saying, in her consultations, you go over everything. I have a notebook handy. Her consultations are packed packed with info. Okay, geared to just for you. Yes. Can I read today? Jeez. Miss Stephanie, why so many bodybuilders take creatine? Come on. Creatine, people want to get swole, right? That's what they want to get. Guys want to get big. But there's like people, like when processed creatine first started coming out, because most meats have creatine. When people started taking processed creatine, they didn't have enough, it hadn't been around long enough to see the issues with it. But now people are starting to have issues, and it really makes your muscle fibers fill up with water. And people say that they're a little bit stronger, but you bloated as frack. You a bloated blimp. People farty, gassy. It's really hard. And that's why people, I think they do 3-week cycles of it. And men, because you try to touch creatine, honey child. You think women already hold water? No, women cannot touch creatine. So people do it because they want to get bigger, and people are always trying to cheat their way into the gains. They always are. Because they don't understand their body. They don't understand the circadian rhythm. They don't understand their immune system. Because if your immune system is down, you're not going to get the gains. I keep trying to tell people that. They keep trying to shove protein shakes and supplements and other things and all this kind of stuff and other things to get bigger. But really, it could be because they have leaky gut, because they're not absorbing their nutrients, their micronutrients, because they're not sleeping well, because they're too catabolic in the day and not enough anabolic at night. See, I honestly don't know what I would do without you. I'd be messing myself up. But if I didn't know things you teach, teach aside from macros, you're the best. Aw, thank you. Who said this? Who said it? The comments are coming in. Let me see. Cam said that. Akerson. Thank you. Give up the coffee, I didn't see what you said before that. I fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. That's adrenal fatigue, usually about 10 p.m. But I wake up at 3. I'm full of energy. That's cortisol. Stay up a couple of hours. Oh, Lord have mercy, child, Sandra. And then go back to sleep. Okay, so people who do this, who've got this. So there's a couple reasons why people wake up at that like 1 to 3 a.m. Sometimes it's your, if you're eating late, unfortunately, it's your it could be your gallbladder releasing bile. And sometimes that will wake you up. But other reasons are people are hypoglycemic in the middle of the night, which is probably what's going on with this person, because if your blood sugar drops too low, the body's like, danger, Will, danger. Only people my age who are in their 50s know Lost in Space. Anyway, so the body goes danger, and through gluconeogenesis, like which coffee does, your body will break down amino acids to raise your blood sugar up so you don't die. Okay, go to coma. And all of a sudden, it goes from low to high. What happens when cortisol rises? really fast, you wake up like, all right, let's go to the club, right? I got some energy, child. Let's go to the club. That's the main reason why you guys are waking up at 3 a.m. Plus, you guys got too much on your mind. The subconscious mind is like, and also alcohol will do that. Caffeine will do that. Will wake you up at 3. Like falling asleep to like TV, tablets, phone, because you're getting all that blue light in your eye, and that makes your brain sort of like, okay, I'm tired, I'm cozy, fall asleep. But then cortisol's like, wait, is it night or day? Because we got that light and it looks like daytime, so it starts to slowly start to raise up that cortisol. Then you wake up. There's a bug in my apartment. What's up with that? Okay, I came to hit the like button. Hello, gang, and Deborah, neighbors. I'm going to bed. Oh, you're good. Oh, bye, Kishelle. So, okay, Danger Will Robinson, right. I love being in my 50s. I love it. I was having a conversation today at the gym with a millennial, and he's like, he goes, "You a dinosaur?" I said, "That's right." He goes, "You pterodactyl." I was like, I said, "I love dinosaurs. So you want to call me a dinosaur?" He's calling me a dinosaur. And I was like, "Okay, let's do some pull-ups, millennial." And I was like, "You gonna do them girly pull-ups?" He's like, "Shut up." I was like, "Let me show you how to do a strict pull-up the right way, brah. Call me a dinosaur. You can't even do a proper pull-up, fool. And you call yourself an athlete from high school?" So I'm digressing. Okay, guys. Okay. Ciao. I love to keep my black and the white side all going inside me. Let me see. Just turned 44. Yay, turned 44. I'm turning 52. What? I love being in my age. I love it. 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 And you guys should love it too. We get too caught up in it, how we look, and it's kind of sad, and it affects everybody, and it affects me too. It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. It is a hot mess. Yes. I'm digressing right now, you guys. Sometimes I get bored talking about this stuff. I ain't gonna lie. That makes my money game go down. So like the followers go when I stop talking about like how to get lean. You guys want to get lean? It's your hormones, all right? It's your hormones. We got leptin, right? We got ghrelin. We've got insulin. We got glucagon, and we got our estrogen, testosterone. We got thyroid hormones, right? And we got the insulin. This is the reason why you guys have a hard time. And you can intermittent fast, your legs get skinnier, right? You get women, your boobs get flatter, butt get flatter, you intermittent fast. Why don't these intermittent fasting gurus talk about women's boobs sagging and their butt turning flat on intermittent fasting? And why don't guys talk about their skinny legs fasting too long? Yeah, you intermittent fast, man. You just watch them legs get bony. Okay, unless you got like women hips and like women, thick legs. Sometimes I see them at the gym. Some men got some thick, wide hips and some big old chunky forest trunk legs that are not lean, hold a lot of water and estrogen. Okay, I'm silly, you guys. I'm so silly. Everyone looks sick, and it's so much harder to be healthy. It is. It's very hard. But once you start understanding what you need to do, like, so for me, if I have to stop, like, I like discovery and growth within myself. So I kind of see it as like I evolve like a worm into a butterfly. So all these foods I liked when I was younger, and I ate them for 40 years. I'm good, right? When I started doing keto, I started making all these faux carbs. And I was like making like keto ice cream and pancakes and like muffins and like all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden I just got tired of eating it. Not eating it. I got tired of making it. I was like, this is pain in the butt. So then when I stopped, it's like you shift. And then when I started learning about the plant paradox and how plants kill us if we eat them too much and too long and out of season, genetically modified, selectively bred. Yes. Then when I started going towards like keto to carnivore, it all makes sense. And I don't feel deprived because y'all know I got some energy. Energy. My 50s. What? Y'all don't have energy in your freaking 20s. Oh, sorry, you guys. Okay, you have PCOS. Oddly, I don't. Oh, you don't have PCOS. Oh, you have blood sugar. What's this PCOS stuff? Let me see. Some foods claim increase test, but some of the foods claim to increase testosterone. Like what? Broccoli? Like, I don't know, beef? Some organ meats? Some brain, some tongue. Yeah. Some cholesterol, the precursor, right? Some butter. If you don't have any issues with the whey encasing. The yolk, right? If you don't have a problem with the protein in the yolk, that's a way to increase your testosterone. Although I didn't see the original comment, so I'm sorry. Maybe garlic? For what? No, some people don't react well to garlic, so we can no longer broad stroke and go, garlic's gonna raise your testosterone. I thought if that's what you guys were saying. Let me see, don't have some food, blah, blah, blah. I'm very hairy, unfortunately, and trying to start keto. Are you a woman? Okay, Stephanie, how do you know if you have adrenal fatigue? So adrenal fatigue is pretty clear. Okay, first of all, there's no such thing as adrenal fatigue, but you have insufficiencies or your adrenals will act weird. Like you don't feel energized until the evening because it takes a while for that cortisol to kick in. And then you're like, okay, now I got the energy and it's 9 o'clock at night. I should be going to bed, but I can't, so I'll go to bed at 12 midnight. Okay? And then I'll watch all my Netflix shows and I'll have time away from the kids. So when you do that and you don't go into a deep enough sleep pattern with the REM cycles, then you wake up and you don't know what really energized feels because you haven't been for years or even since you were a child because you're not following a circadian rhythm. And now your hormones are off, your wake sleep hormones. And so people drag. They go to the gym, they don't have any power, they don't have any kick, they don't have energy, the brain's not sharp, let's go. But obviously it's crashing in the middle of the day, feeling tired when you wake up, being awake at night. That's waking up in the middle of the night. That's typical adrenal issues. How does someone know if they have adrenal? Okay, you asked that. Okay, you're a woman. Okay. Should women approach keto differently than men? No. I used to think that they should, but no. I mean, all these channels about intermittent fasting, it's like I was watching one video of a guy going, look at me, intermittent fasting. I'm like, bro, you must be like, you've got to be under 35. Bro, I'm in my 50s. You cannot tell women and men who've got health issues and blood sugar instability and sleep issues to intermittent fast. Or your butt and your boobs are going to turn flat, butt going to get flat. I don't care how many deadlifts you do, women, your butt going to get flat intermittent fasting. So these types of things where people intermittent fast is like sort of exacerbate this whole adrenal issue because you need, if you're going to intermittent fast, your brain doesn't care that you want to look aesthetic, okay? And like they can't even measure autophagy. So in the beginning, with people are throwing that word around, autophagy, it's like they can't measure it. So this is just a hypothesis. So, but you actually have to look at real people and see what happens because I coach thousands of people. You see what happens very clearly. So people tend to not eat enough. People skip breakfast. The woman I spoke to today, she was going hours without eating, sometimes just eating once a day. And she was 100 and, no, she was 89 or 90 kilos, which is 100. She was 89 kilos, 90, which is 198 pounds, eating like 1,300 calories with her intermittent fasting, brat. And she actually gained 10 kilos in a very short time fasting. Yo, so men and women starting straight keto omnivore when you still eat plants, now it's the same. We have different macros. We have different protein and fat amounts. The vegetables are about the same, but as far as the fat, which the fat and the protein are the most important, not the plants. People are like, do I have to have plants? And I'm like, not if you don't want to. They're like, yay! And I was like, yes. I'm digressing back to when I was 9 and I hated plants, and then I started loving plants. You weigh 197. And I didn't see your original comment, Karen, I think. Thank you for trying to clarify on my behalf. I'm 28 and have no energy, and being really hairy is crazy. So people can say you've been tested for cysts. You've been tested. You have an ultrasound of your ovaries. Have you also been tested for high blood sugar? and your testosterone and your estrogen to know that you don't have PCOS. Or if you come from a culture where you're hairy, then it is what it is. And we just have to deal with everything that we're dealt with. You guys know I developed melasma from using an infrared box, or it came out. Let's just put it that way. That's the reason why I look like a raccoon, because I can't get my foundation to match. Oh, you do have PCOS. Okay, so keto is really good for PCOS, and keto carnivore. Like these two dietary measures, which are the same essentially, they have to be done so careful when you have PCOS or thyroid, because PCOS women typically have thyroid issues. And if you don't do this right, you can exacerbate your symptoms and make things worse, right? So PCOS women tend to get acne. They tend to start growing hair in all weird places. They can even have receding hairlines, and their testosterone raises. I think it actually, the dihydrotestosterone rises. It's a mess. So you really got to get that blood sugar stable and make sure that you protect your thyroid if you're going to do these dietary measures, because you have to be disciplined. You can't just skip meals, and the brain's like, I'm sorry, I need gasoline to drive this car. You driving this car 100 miles an hour, there ain't nothing in it. So I'm just going to start messing with all of these systems, and we don't want that. Oh, thank you, Karen. You know what? Look, we are born, like, you can do the best you can, and then the rest, you got to just enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect, by all means, but I work hard. Y'all don't know. I go to the gym 6 days a week, brah. I go to this gym 6 days a week, and I don't leave that gym under an hour. I'm always over. And I'm always about meditating and stretching and calisthenics, and not just lifting, and breathing properly and correcting my spine and sitting a certain way. I'm standing desks, and I'm standing in my live streams, and I'm doing keto carnivore right now. And, it's just like there's so many things that I do nonstop, and going to bed and wearing the blue blockers and taking the magnesium and doing the and I'm doing this stuff every freaking day. I don't play with it. And a lot of people also got to understand that I don't have kids. People are like, do you have kids? They're like, oh, no wonder your stomach is flat. And I'll go, first of all, if I had kids, my stomach would look just like this, because I know, okay, I've worked with women on keto, and I've worked with women not on keto. There's a certain way that you don't have to split that abdominal wall, right? Split it and everything hang out. There are certain things that you need to do. And you need to mind that blood sugar when you're having a child. And yes, you can do keto and keto carnivore while you got something in utero. It just has to be done, and breastfeeding afterwards. It must be done the right way, because if you don't do the right way, you can drop your milk production, and you can have issues. So everything has to be done right. That's why I do this video series. I know I'm not salacious, and I don't got a lot of people here, and I'm not talking about Jeffree Star and all these kind of people. And that's what brings in I'm not a drama channel. I'm on Get Healthy channel. And I don't lie to you and tell you that you can go on keto and lose a bunch of weight. But you can access, I was telling the woman today, I was like, you can access your fat cells, but it takes time. The first thing you need to do, use keto to get healthy. And they can go hand in hand. Use keto to get healthy. But then once you use keto to get healthy, it's amazing to see the transformation of your body begin to start freaking healing. It's beyond measure the most amazing thing I've ever experienced, which is why you guys know I've done this for almost 12 years, and I have not refed one time on any sugar, on any carbs, any sweet fruits, not once, ever. No caffeine, no alcohol, nada, nothing. Because I want to be my own experiment, and I want to see myself, what happens, because you'll see a lot of men saying, you can't do keto over 2 years if you're a woman. I'm like, okay, well, come chill, Steph, okay? Because I look more healthy than you. I'm older than you, and I've been doing this thing for 12 years, so you might want to pull a seat, PhD doctor, and learn something. I'm just saying. Whew, I'm in the pump up Stephanie ego right now moment. And sometimes you have to pump up your ego, because this is a hard place to live. And to feel confident with what you're doing, you have to believe in what you're doing. Must. Don't let people get you off your edge. Okay, guys, I'm almost at an hour, and I wanted to test this stream as well. I want to talk about coffee, answer your guys' questions. Thank you, Deborah. Steph, what was the name of the new site you recently mentioned for grass-fed organ meats? I decided to not go with that company because I placed the order and then they sent me an email saying that they needed to access my credit card to access $50 for shipping. I'm like, okay, you want me to pay $50, $250. Well, then I'm not getting that liver at a cheaper rate. Then I can just go to any online site if I have to spend another $50 on shipping. So when you buy that much, because I bought 41 pounds of it, then they should have some type of shipping deal where the cost goes down, but it seems like they haven't figured that out. So I decided to not go with them. Just for now, I'm going to try to find more local farms where I am and not have to pay like, okay, so I eat that. Do I have to pay $250, $51 every time I want this? And then I've got to worry about like the meat coming, like Butcher Box sent me a box and it got to the freaking mailman did not bring it to my door and it sat out and got rotten. Okay? Because I didn't get a notification. I even signed up for the freaking thing in the mail where they give you notifications when the mailman has dropped off your packages. Because I live in an area where people can go and steal your packages and the boxes are big, right? So if you've got a lobby and there's a glass door and there's a big box and somebody opens the door and somebody walks in afterwards and steals the box. So I'm like, I tell all of these things like Amazon and everything, that has to be delivered to my front door and not to the lobby. Or else I'm fracked. So I'm like, nah, I'd rather just go and see if I can pick it up at a local farm nearby and then I don't have to worry about any of that. So I canceled my order. But the place was called, I can't remember. It was something like, it was Lasauter. That's what it was. It was Lasauter Grasslands Beef. And they have really good sales, but you don't have to pay those shipping prices if you're in Colorado where they're from. Maybe I'll have to drive to Colorado and just pick it up myself. Kidding. Is keto good for a person with stage 4 prostate cancer? Yes, Jocelyn, absolutely. Now, stage 4 is pretty scary because that's when that stuff wants to just spread. I started this because my mother had stage 4 brain cancer. She had, and she's still alive, she still has the glio, but it hasn't moved. So she had a glioblastoma. Now I get a bunch of people like, oh, my father died of a glioblastoma. Nobody survives that. I'm like, I know. So I will never say, and you will never hear me say, that keto was the reason why she survived her glio, but I can say that it was a part afterwards in having those cells not just start regrowing and killing her immediately. So yes, could it help pancreatic cancer or prostate? Yeah, I think so. But the application of it is so gnarly. Like you have to be on point, fleet correct. Like I said, it's not just the diet. It's like how you sit, how you walk, how you breathe, like how you deal with stress. For example, I went to go watch Les Miserables. No, that French R is hard to say for Americans, but I was out really, really late and my friend has asthma. So she said, wait, hold on. She said, oh my God, I haven't had to take my medicine. So she's so used to difficulties with breathing. Like she's got asthma like the worst. Like she goes to the hospital all the time. She can't breathe. So, I got her on keto carnivore and that immediately showed results for her. Immediately. But she's still going through this stuff. The wheezing and all this kind of stuff. And so afterwards we were talking about the musical in the car. And we talked for like 2 hours, which is why I got actually home so late. But we talked for a couple of hours and she said, wait, I'm not wheezing. I didn't take my medication. I forgot. And I said, okay. I said, do you think that stress, because she works as a real estate agent, I said, do you think that stress is playing a role in the inflammatory response to your breathing? She's like, because she's like, I haven't been out in so long. I had so much fun hanging out with you stuff. We were laughing. I mean, we were laughing our butt off because this whole Les Miserables thing story is hard. They like singing the whole time, damn near 4 hours singing with the intermission, and but we were chilling, we were laughing afterwards and all this kind of stuff. We were like deconstructing the story, and because she was laughing, because her cortisol was down, then that inflammatory response that comes from too much cortisol production went down, and she's like, that has to be it. She's like, this has to be the last drop of why I take less medication, but I still am taking medication. And when I'm not stressed, she's having less asthma attacks. So prostate, yeah, make another video on gluten. Okay, but I don't know if anybody else wants that, child. Okay, what do you want me to say? Gluten, it used to be 14 chromosomes long of gluten. We took one little parent grain and another one, and they made some babies. It made some more gluten. And gluten is the anti-nutrient and the protein that makes people sick. So it used to be this long, now this long. Okay, now people eat it like this, and it's leading to all these health issues. And it doesn't matter that you don't come back as with celiac showing up on a blood panel. It's still bad for everyone. Point, period, done. Okay. So I don't know if I want to do a whole video on that. I think I'd lose people if I just talked about bread. How do you heal? Unless I do my other, create another channel that's just about low carb, which is still a starch. How do you heal non-alcoholic fatty disease? So the non-alcoholic fatty disease is like, stay away from oxalates. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. Go Google all the oxalate foods and cut it out immediately. Number 2, get your estrogen under control, because that's a problem. Don't drink caffeine. Mind all the supplementation you're taking, because all of it has to go to the liver. And I don't know the level and the score of your non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Non-alcoholic, it's like fatty LD, like the acronyms online. Okay, stress kills blood sugar spikes. Yeah, it can create advanced glycation end product and glycate the cells just from stress. Yes, sugars cause a lot of stress in the body. Ah, thank you. Is it Be Happy Now? What a sweet name. Be Happy Now. I love that name. Okay, you guys, I should go. I cannot keep my streams under 30 minutes. I am too weak to you guys. Y'all pull at my heartstrings. No oxalates. Medications mess the liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Fructose obviously has to go to the liver. So one of my clients' mother died from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease from eating too much fruit. No joke, because we Frankenstein our fruit, okay? We Frankenstein it to have more fructose, like ungodly amounts of fructose. And then we're just like, oh my God, I have some grapes. I love them, blah, 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 but I have some more fruit. And I'm a fruitarian. And then all of a sudden you start to, the enzymes start to become problematic. And then you start to get that little fatty liver going. And then your hormones, like that estrogen, will just get stuck up in there. So if you use cruciferous vegetables, which have oxalates, you would only use that for the short term. You don't just stay on, or lemon. You don't just stay on oxalate high foods. That's why the plant paradox, they can help your organs, but you stay like one little step too long in them mother suckers, and they can hurt your organs. All right, guys, time to go. I got some energy. I'm so excited. Life is good. Life is fabulous. I live in California. I was born here in Los Angeles. I lived in Europe forever. Almost 16 years of my life. And det är därför jag pratar lite svenska. That's why I speak a little Swedish. Okay. And I do too much Cardi B R rolling. But with that said, but we roll the R's in Swedish, right? Roligt! För fan, det var jävla roligt! And living in the North Pole scarred me for life. My black ass needs to be near like sunny weather. So I'm enjoying life, guys. I really am. Sorry for my silliness. Can you do lettuce on what? No, you can't do lettuce. You can no. Carnivore is all meat fat. It's keto carnivore, honey. I don't do carnivore. I only do keto carnivore. And that's a high fat, moderate to low protein, and salt. That's the only thing from the earth you're going to be consuming in the mouth. Everything else, lettuce, no, baby. No, honey child. Mm-mm. Okay, you guys know I oscillate between my southern black side, which I'm not from the South, but my mom is. My southern black side, so I was born here in LA. Whoops, what? And my Kardashian side, so fabulous. All right, I'm tired of looking at my raccoonness. I need to go and relax, wash my face, and enjoy this lovely evening. Get some sleep, because I didn't get no sleep last night, y'all. People, I was tired. Jag känner mig lite trött ikväll. Dude, fun. Do we need to... You guys keep asking questions. You will not let me go. People on the replay are like, I don't like this. She's crazy. You need to dial it back, okay? You need to dial it back. All right, Miss Stephanie. Do we need tallow or lard? Isn't that fatty meat? No. No, fatty. What you talking about? No. You need to go over 200 grams of fat on keto carnivore, because I can go have a steak and get myself like 18 to 28 grams of fat depending on the cut of that meat, and I need to hit 70 in my meal. What you gonna do? Eat freaking steak all day to get the fat trimmings? It's not enough. You need to add tablespoons of lard, tallow, maybe some omega-6, bird fat. You need to add that down to your plate, or lamb fat onto your plate to get over 200 grams of fat. Because eggs have 4 grams of fat? 4 grams of fat? Would you have 4 eggs? No. You have 16 grams of fat? No, you ain't gonna hit 200. You ain't gonna hit 300 on that. I'm sorry. No. And what you're gonna do? Eat beef and the fat trimmings all day long? No, nobody does that. They're afraid of fat. No, you have to add that fat. Sorry, just a little sarcastic. My little cranky, 50-something-year-old person. Let me see, 80% fat, 15% protein. Yeah, so we don't really go by the percentages. We go by the grams. So y'all start with about 220 grams of fat. Make that your 15%. I mean, your 85%, 200, 220, 230. It depends on who you are and how tall, and if you're a man or woman, and exercise and, get a bigger mass and need more fat. You need to spread that throughout the day. I know that eating food is hard on the digestive tract, but if you don't want to hit hypoglycemia, you got to listen to Steph channel. And like up the stream. Don't forget to like up the stream, guys. Calories do not matter. Hormones matter. Okay? You're going to eat 500 calories from steak and 500 calories from cookies. Which one's going to make you more fat? I mean, that's romper room, Sesame Street easy. The cookies. Why? Because it's processed. Because the wheat has been broken down. That shit melts in your mouth. If it's melting in your mouth through amylase, your stomach doesn't even have to digest that damn cookie. You put a steak in your mouth, you're chewing it for 20 minutes. Which one's going to spike the blood sugar faster? The sugar cookies. Which one has no sugar? The steak. What makes you store fat? Sugar from an insulin spike. Okay, guys, I'm being such a dork, and I know I'm really annoying right now. If you do liver every day, I thought you said you have to be rotate protein. No, I never said you have to rotate protein. I said you had to rotate all your foods. So I never said rotate proteins. Okay? But the point is to rotate your foods. So you can, what I do is I rotate all my proteins, and then I always have a little bit of liver. Because you know why? The liver is my multivitamin. Because multivitamins in a package will mess up your organs. Okay? Toxic. Vitamins in supplementation form are just poison. And I'm getting goofy right now. You guys know I need to go. My back's killing me. Freaking 12 years pro skateboarder. Shoot. I need to wash my back. Okay. Use my Fitbit to, don't use, just chart it yourself. Make sure that you don't use the Fitbit to use the Fitbit's macros. Make sure that you look at the back of the package. That's the best way. Y'all stop. How much do you eat the liver that you want? Now remember, cooked liver has more carbohydrates. So if you're trying to adapt, you gotta just have a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Have some. Don't make it your primary meat. Just use it as a supplement. Real liver. not desiccated liver, not liver and pills, and you could do other types of things, but I'll save that for my book. Yes. So you guys know I'm supposed to have put out a book a while ago, but things changed. And they changed for the better. So now I'm making a bigger book. And it'll have all this new data. Because if I had put out my book at that time, I would not be proud of it because I've evolved so much from when I got that publishing deal. Okay, guys, time to go. To book a consultation, go to stephanieperson.com, you guys. I also have an Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. If you guys want to join my course page, which is through my website, stephanieperson.com, it's only $15 a month. You can do 1 month or many months, but you got me there. I do little mini consultations on Sundays. I do live streaming there, answer questions. I have course lessons daily. I ain't playing with it. Sometimes I'll be sitting down for 2 hours writing a lesson, okay? Okra on keto. I think it has too many carbs. The course page is awesome. So much information. Oh, thank you. Who said that? Let me see. Jennifer. Thank you. So, you guys, anybody on the replay, look at Deborah's caps. She's written it very clear how to sign up for these things. And I'm out. Time to go. Now let's hope that the internet gods are in the house and that I have a good stream, because if it's working on my phone finally, because we fixed everything in this apartment that was creating like pixelation and processing and all this stuff, if it's good, I will switch to my camera and laptop, and then I'll start sharing screens and we can start looking and talking and dissecting and having these streams be more awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you. And I'm out. Thanks for everyone who liked up the stream. The ratio of likes to people in the stream are higher. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And I'm out. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you for always for being here for me. Deborah has changed my whole streaming style. Before I'd sit and argue with people like a dumbass. So now I don't. I even forget that the trolls are there. So thank you, Deborah. Thank you. And I'll see you on the course page as well. Bye. Now I gotta go. Be happy, right? Be happy says be happy now. I am happy. I got some energy. Energy. 51, almost 52 full natty. What's up? Boof.